Yes, people, how's it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're doing good, hope you're keeping safe and well. And in the words of the legendary Alan Partridge, hope you're having a really good Thursday wherever you are in the world and whatever you are planning to get up to today. On today's show, I'm going to be bringing to you guys your latest and your greatest Tottenham Hotspur transfer rumours, reports and updates that have come out in the summer transfer window. And I want to start things off by talking about Wahi. Big news coming out last night in that Tottenham Hotspur are set to make a bid for Montpellier striker Wahi. Now this is very interesting, and personally I think Wahi would fit into Ange's system like a glove. I really do. I think he's pacey, I think he's prolific, and I think he'd fit into Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham side so well, which is something that I'm questioning right now for striker Harry Kane. Obviously Kane's been linked with Bayern all summer and we know how good Harry Kane is. But I'm questioning, even if he does stay, whether he signs a new contract or not. If Harry Kane plays for Spurs next season, will he be able to score the 30 goals that he did in the previous season under a manager like Antonio Conte? I don't know, and right now, I don't think so. I know we've only seen 2 pre-season games, but 2 pre-season games is enough to see that Harry Kane's almost trying to do too much when he doesn't need to now. The whole point of bringing in Maddison was to bring in that attacking midfielder we've needed for so long, but for years now, since Christian Eriksen left pretty much, and he really started playing this role under Jose Mourinho back in 2020, Harry Kane's been used to playing almost 2 positions, and what I mean by that is he's been used to playing the striker role, bagging the goals, but at the same time playing the creative midfielder role. He's been so used to playing the creative midfielder role, that number 10 role, playing the passes to the men out wide, and then them whipping it in for him to finish them. He's so used to playing almost 2 roles, and the fact Maddison's there behind him, I think it's almost a bit of a shock to the system. It's a shock to the system that he doesn't have to drop deep, and I think that takes a little bit away from his game. I do. I think Harry Kane's a hold-up striker at times as well. He's not your pacey striker, so I think it takes a little bit away from his game, Maddison being there. So, look, if Harry Kane stays at Tottenham, he needs to get back to the Harry Kane he was back in 2017. Because don't get me wrong, I think the Harry Kane we've seen the last few years is arguably the best Harry Kane. That hold-up play Harry Kane who's constantly held up the ball when we needed him to and played phenomenal passes and then finished them off as well when he started the move. The perfect example of that, beating Man City 3-2. I think he needs to get back to the Harry Kane who was under Mauricio Pochettino, when he was purely a striker and just almost doing what Erling Haaland does right now for Man City. Don't get me wrong, he's still scoring 30 goals, but just being that striker. Because if he tries to be that attacking midfielder and drop deep, it's just going to be a mess. And we've seen it in the first two games of the season. I don't know, maybe you put Giovanni Lo Celso in there with Harry Kane, it works differently. So we haven't really had a chance to see that, in all honesty. It's been one team the first half and then a completely different team the second for both pre-season games. But I don't think Harry Kane's settling in to this Tottenham Hotspur team, but that's something I do believe Wahi would do. Obviously, he had that game this season that impressed me and I think most people. I believe it was against Lyon where Lacazette scored 4 goals. And so did Wahi. It was a phenomenal game. I believe it ended like 5-4 to Lyon. But nevertheless, 4 goals. 4 goals in that game alone. He scored so many in the season just gone. He's prolific, like I say. And he's pacey. He's that Ange Postecoglou type striker. Someone who can constantly make runs. The wingers can find him. I like the idea of this guy. But if you're bringing him in, when you consider that, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he's nowhere near the level of Harry Kane. If you bring this guy in as a replacement, you also need to strengthen the team. Look at what Liverpool did when they lost Coutinho. Okay, they brought in another midfielder, but at the end of the day, that wasn't their big midfielder. So they didn't just leave it at that. They brought in Van Dijk and they brought in Alisson. They strengthened in the positions that they need to with that Coutinho money. Years later, Van Dijk and Alisson are Premier League winners. Years later, Van Dijk and Alisson are Champions League winners. Arguably one of the best goalkeepers and one of the best centre-backs in the world. So if we do bring this guy in, considering that he's unproven, don't get me wrong, he's good, but that he's unproven, you need to bring in a top-tier centre-back. A top-tier centre-back. You need to strengthen even more than we were thinking of doing in our priority position. Whether Tottenham do that or not, I don't know. Probably not. We know Levy's a tighty stinge-ass, I almost said, a stingy tight ass. So, look, we'll see what happens. But Wahi, okay, there's a few dodgy conspiracies and a few dodgy rumours and reports that have gone around about him. I don't see any, or personally right now, I don't see any truth in them. You know, there's no evidence of them. If there's evidence of the reports that I'm talking about, if you know, then I don't want to sign the guy, but right now there isn't, I don't believe. So look, I'm open to bringing the guy in. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. And another striker Tottenham Hotspur have been linked with for a few days now is Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani, very, very interesting this one. A man who played a huge part for France in the World Cup, and almost someone who, you know, you get these players in teams, the hidden gems who sort of pop out at nowhere. I mean, we knew Kolo Muani before the World Cup, but have a great tournament. Kolo Muani was one of those, scored that crucial goal against Morocco in the World Cup for France. You know, I would have said he could have scored the winner and should have scored the winner on final, but that's just an unbelievable save from Martinez. That one where he's due on goal. It's so hard to bury there because Martinez has literally made himself as big as possible. But Kolo Muani, I like the guy. I do like the guy. I think he's a very, very talented striker, and very similarly to Wahi, I think he'd fit into Ange's system like a glove. I personally like him at Tottenham Hotspur, and if we did bring him in, I'd be happy with that. I think both of these two players we've been linked with, Wahi and Muani, are better than Richarlison, clear of Richarlison in all honesty. But if we did bring them in because they're a little bit unproven and nowhere near the level of Harry Kane, we also need to strengthen the centre-backs, in my opinion. But look, those are my thoughts and opinions on the two latest players Tottenham Hotspur have been linked with. Any updates in the Joe Lewis case, I'll be providing you guys with them on the channel. Do you know what's annoying me? The amount of people who are just going, okay, it's not linked to Tottenham Hotspur now. First off, you're wrong, because Joe Lewis still was a shareholder in Spurs in time, and it can affect Tottenham Hotspur and their sponsorships. I'll make videos on that down the line, don't get me wrong. But what's annoying me is people going, oh, it won't affect Spurs now. So you're just happy that we've had a criminal running our club for years. And then you've got a lot of people going, oh, he hasn't been found guilty yet. Why do you think he gave up his shares and handed things down to his daughter? Because he knew this was coming. He knew this was coming. And the fact some people are just happy to accept we've had a criminal running our club for years, it's frustrating. It goes to show how this fan base will honestly let anything slide. We'll probably sack Big Ange this season, and yet again it'll be the same thing. We'll bring in another manager and people will never ever learn. But look, we're playing some good football right now at Spurs. Harry Kane needs to settle in, but we've spoken about two potential replacements if he doesn't. Comment your thoughts on Muani and Wahi. I want to hear them all. Thank you for watching this video. Take care, all the best, and as always, come on you Spurs. In Big Ange we trust. Enoch and Levy